Chosen one, listen to me carefully. I carry an urgent and sacred message today, and this message is not for everyone. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if your heart is closed to truth, wisdom, and obedience, I strongly advise you not to continue watching. This message is only for those who are truly chosen, truly called, and deeply aligned with God's purpose. And if you are still here, understand this clearly. This message reached you at the exact moment your spirit was ready to receive it. Not early, not late. Perfect timing. Chosen one, your blue power is not accidental. It is a divine sign placed upon you by God Himself. And whether you realize it or not, they see it, they feel it, and they know it. Your calm strength, your quiet authority, your spiritual depth, none of it goes unnoticed in the spiritual realm. What I am about to reveal today will bring clarity to things you've felt but couldn't explain. It will heal confusion, release tension, and remind you who you truly are in God's eyes. Stay with me until the very end, because what you'll hear may shift how you see yourself forever. Before we continue, chosen ones, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones who need this confirmation. And comment 777 in the comments to declare that you are aligned, awakened, and ready for God's purpose.
What blue power truly means in the spiritual realm. Chosen one, let me slow this down and speak to you calmly now, because what I'm about to explain requires understanding, not excitement. Blue power is not something you picked up along the way. It is not something you learned from people, books, or experiences alone. Blue power is assigned. It is a mark of divine authority placed on a soul by God Himself. In the spiritual realm, blue represents truth, wisdom, order, protection, and heavenly authority. It is the color of the sky, the reminder that power does not come from chaos, noise, or force. It comes from alignment. Blue power is calm, but it is unshakable. It does not rush. It does not panic. It does not prove itself. It simply is. Many people misunderstand power. They think power is loud. They think power is dominance, argument, control, or emotional intensity. That is not blue power. Blue power is the authority of someone who knows who they are in God, even when no one else recognizes it. It is the strength of someone who does not need validation to remain steady. Chosen one, when God gives blue power, He gives it to souls He can trust. This power is not given to the impulsive. It is not given to the unstable. It is not given to those who chase attention or approval. It is given to those who can remain calm while others fall apart. It is given to those who can hold truth without weaponizing it. It is given to those who can lead without needing to be seen. Blue power works quietly, but it works deeply. You may have noticed that when you enter certain environments, things shift. Conversations change. People become uncomfortable or suddenly respectful. Some feel calm around you. Others feel exposed. This is not your imagination. This is spiritual authority responding to your presence. This power does not shout because it does not need to. It carries weight in silence. Even when you say very little, your words land deeply. Even when you remain still, your presence speaks. That is blue power. It is not emotional manipulation. It is not fear-based influence. It is divine alignment expressing itself naturally. Now listen carefully. Blue power does not mean you are perfect. It does not mean you are above others. It does not mean you are immune to pain, doubt, or struggle. What it means is that you are anchored. Even when life shakes you, you do not completely lose yourself. Even when you fall, you rise with wisdom, not bitterness. This power often develops through seasons of silence. God refines blue power in hidden places. While others are chasing recognition, you are being shaped in stillness. While others are speaking, you are learning to listen. While others are reacting, you are learning discernment. And sometimes, chosen one, this process feels lonely. But it is intentional. Blue power is connected to truth. That is why lies bother you deeply. That is why injustice unsettles your spirit. That is why you cannot pretend for long. You are wired for authenticity, even when it costs you comfort. God placed this within you so you could recognize what is real in a world full of illusion. This power is also connected to protection. Not just for yourself, but for others. You may have noticed people opening up to you without knowing why. They trust you without explanation. They feel safe around you. That is not accidental. Your spirit carries a protective frequency. God uses you as a resting place for weary souls. But let me be honest with you, because I respect you too much to sugarcoat this. Blue power also attracts attention from those who are not aligned with God. Darkness recognizes authority. Confusion recognizes clarity. Ego recognizes humility. And when they encounter something they cannot manipulate, control, or understand, discomfort arises. That is why some people feel threatened by your calm. That is why your silence makes others nervous. That is why your boundaries upset those who benefit from chaos. You are not doing anything wrong. You are simply being who God designed you to be. Chosen one, blue power is not aggressive. It does not seek to dominate. It seeks to restore order. When you speak truth, you are not trying to win. You are trying to align. When you correct, it comes from responsibility, not pride. When you walk away, it is not weakness, it is wisdom. This power also teaches patience. You may often feel like you see things before others do. You sense outcomes before they unfold. You recognize patterns quickly. But blue power does not rush revelation. God teaches you to wait, because timing is just as important as truth. Understand this deeply. God did not give you blue power so you could fight everyone. He gave it to you so you could stand firm while the world shakes. You are not here to convince everyone. You are here to remain aligned, steady, and obedient. Blue power is the authority of someone who knows when to speak and when to remain silent. It is the wisdom to walk away from arguments you could easily win. It is the discipline to remain calm when provoked. It is the strength to choose peace without surrendering truth. And here is something very important I need you to hear. Blue power grows stronger when you stop questioning it. Doubt weakens it. Comparison distorts it. But acceptance stabilizes it. The moment you stop asking why you are different and start honoring how God made you, things begin to flow. You were not meant to blend in. You were meant to bring order. You were not meant to react like everyone else. You were meant to respond with wisdom. And the more you align with God's voice, the clearer this power becomes. Chosen one, this is not fantasy. This is not ego. This is responsibility. And if this resonates deeply within you, it is because your spirit recognizes truth when it hears it. Your blue power is real. It is ancient. It is intentional. And it is activated by obedience, humility, and trust in God. Take a breath. Let that settle in your spirit. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove anything. You are already marked, and they know it. Signs you carry the blue power without realizing it. Chosen one, many of you have been carrying this power for years without a name for it. You felt it. You lived it. But no one ever explained it to you. So you questioned yourself. You wondered why you felt different. You wondered why life felt heavier for you than for others. Let me bring clarity and peace to that confusion right now. One of the first signs of blue power is calm under pressure. When chaos erupts, something inside you slows down instead of speeding up. While others panic, you observe. While others react emotionally, you think clearly. This does not mean you don't feel fear or stress. It means fear does not control you. Your spirit naturally moves into order when disorder appears. That is not a learned skill. That is spiritual authority. Another sign is your deep emotional awareness. You sense shifts in people's moods before they speak. You feel tension in a room even when everyone is smiling. You know when something is off, even if there is no evidence yet. And most of the time, you later realize you were right. This is discernment. Blue power sharpens perception. It allows you to see beyond words and behaviors into intentions and truth. You may have noticed that you do not enjoy shallow conversations for long. Small talk drains you. Gossip bothers you. Pretending exhausts you. You crave meaning, depth, and honesty. This is because your spirit is wired for truth, not performance. You are not built to live on the surface. God designed you to go deeper, even when that depth feels lonely. Loneliness is another sign, and I want to speak gently here. Many chosen ones with blue power experience seasons of isolation, not because they are unlovable, not because they are difficult, but because their frequency does not match the noise of the world. You may have felt misunderstood, even by people close to you. You may have outgrown environments without knowing why. This is not rejection. This is elevation. You also tend to carry a sense of responsibility that others do not understand. You feel accountable even when no one is watching. You struggle with letting things slide when you know they are wrong. Your conscience is strong. You don't feel comfortable compromising truth for convenience. This is not rigidity. This is integrity. Blue power carries moral weight. Another clear sign is how people respond to you without explanation. Some are drawn to you immediately. They open up. They trust you. They share things they've never told anyone. Others feel uneasy, defensive, guarded. You didn't do anything to cause this. Your presence simply reveals what is already inside them. Blue power acts like a mirror, and not everyone likes what they see. You may also notice that you are often placed in leadership roles, even when you don't seek them. People look to you for guidance. They ask for your opinion. They wait for your approval. And sometimes this surprises you because you don't feel like you're doing anything special. But leadership is not about volume. It is about stability. And your spirit naturally stabilizes environments. Another sign is your relationship with silence. You are comfortable being alone with your thoughts. You don't always need noise to distract you. Silence does not scare you. In fact, it often restores you. This is because blue power grows in stillness. God speaks clearly to those who know how to be quiet. Let me talk about exhaustion for a moment, because many of you feel this deeply. You can be physically rested and still feel tired. This is not laziness. This is not weakness. This is spiritual fatigue. You carry emotional and spiritual weight, often for others as well as yourself. You absorb energy. You process deeply. And this requires rest on a soul level, not just sleep. You also have a strong internal compass. When something is not aligned with God, you feel it immediately. You may not always have words for it, but your spirit resists. And when you ignore that inner warning, things tend to go wrong. Over time, God teaches you to trust this inner guidance. This is blue power teaching you discernment. Many of you struggle with being patient with surface-level authority. You respect wisdom, not titles. You listen to those who carry truth, not just those who carry position. And this can sometimes put you at odds with systems built on ego rather than integrity. This does not make you rebellious. It makes you discerning. You may also notice that you are often the one people come to in crisis. When things fall apart, they call you. When emotions are high, they lean on you. When decisions must be made, they seek your input. This is because your presence brings calm. You are a stabilizer. God uses you as an anchor in storms. Another sign is your difficulty pretending to be someone you are not. You can try, but it never lasts. Eventually, your true self surfaces. You cannot live a double life comfortably. You cannot fake alignment. Blue power demands authenticity. And when you suppress it, your spirit feels heavy and restless. You also tend to question yourself more than others realize. Not because you are insecure, but because you are self-aware. You reflect deeply. You examine your motives. You seek growth. This humility keeps your power balanced. God protects blue power by keeping the heart teachable. Let me say something important here. Many chosen ones believe something is wrong with them because they don't fit in easily. That is a lie. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to bring clarity, calm, and order where there is confusion. And that role often feels uncomfortable before it feels purposeful. You may have noticed that when you speak truth, it lands heavily. Even simple words carry weight when you say them. This is because your words come from alignment, not impulse. Blue power sharpens communication. It teaches you to speak intentionally, not excessively. Another sign is your resistance to manipulation. You may not always call it out immediately, but you feel it. You sense when someone is trying to control, guilt, or deceive. And over time, you learn to set boundaries. This often upsets those who benefited from your silence, but it protects your spirit. Chosen one, none of these traits are accidents. They are not personality quirks. They are spiritual indicators. They are signs of divine authority developing quietly within you. And the reason this resonates so deeply is because your spirit recognizes itself. You are not broken. You are not strange. You are not too much or too quiet. You are calibrated differently because your assignment is different. God does not give blue power lightly. He gives it to those who can carry it without corruption. Take a moment and breathe. Let go of the confusion. Let go of the self-doubt. Everything you have felt makes sense now. And as we continue, you will understand not only who you are, but why others respond to you the way they do. There is one more sign I need to speak about, because it quietly confirms everything you've experienced so far. You have an unusual relationship with truth. When you lie to yourself, even in small ways, your spirit becomes restless. You may try to justify things, ignore warnings, or delay decisions, but peace does not return until you realign with what you know is right. This inner discomfort is not condemnation. It is correction. Blue power does not allow prolonged self-deception. You also tend to grow through pressure, not comfort. Seasons that would break others mature you. Pain sharpens your wisdom instead of hardening your heart. You reflect, you learn, and you come back calmer, clearer, and stronger. This is not resilience by chance. This is refinement by design. God uses adversity to polish blue power, not to destroy it. And finally, chosen one, you carry a quiet confidence that does not depend on outcomes. Even when things are uncertain, something within you remains steady. You trust that God will make a way, even when you cannot see it yet. That trust is not naive. It is spiritual memory. Your soul remembers who leads you. If these words feel deeply familiar, it is because your spirit is being reminded, not informed, and that is the clearest sign of all. Why they notice your blue power and feel threatened. Chosen one, let me explain something that has confused you for a long time. You may have wondered why certain people react to you negatively without a clear reason. You show respect, you remain calm, you mind your business, yet tension appears. Silence follows. Subtle resistance grows. This is not coincidence, and it is not your imagination. It is recognition. Blue power is not loud, but it is revealing. And not everyone wants to be revealed. When someone lives in confusion, insecurity, or hidden motives, they can function comfortably among others doing the same. But when a soul carrying clarity enters the space, things shift. Truth does not need to accuse to expose. Your presence alone disrupts false balance. That disruption feels like threat to those who rely on masks, manipulation, or control. Understand this clearly. People are not reacting to your personality. They are reacting to your alignment. Your calm unsettles those who thrive on chaos. Your boundaries unsettle those who depend on access. Your silence unsettles those who expect reaction. And your discernment unsettles those who hope to remain unseen. This is why some people grow defensive around you. Not because you attack them, but because they feel exposed. Blue power carries authority without aggression. And authority without aggression is difficult to challenge. When someone is loud, others can argue. When someone is emotional, others can provoke. But when someone is calm and grounded, there is nowhere to push. That stillness becomes intimidating to those who rely on instability to maintain control. Some people sense that they cannot manipulate you easily. They try subtle tactics, passive comments, emotional pressure, guilt, silence, withdrawal. And when none of it works, frustration grows. Not because you did something wrong, but because their usual strategies fail in your presence. Let me say this gently but truthfully. Darkness recognizes divine authority faster than people do. Confusion senses clarity. Ego senses humility. And insecurity senses confidence that does not seek validation. This is spiritual awareness, whether they understand it or not. That is why opposition often comes without explanation. No argument, no confrontation, just distance, tension, or quiet resistance. And this can be painful for you because you value harmony. You value peace. You don't want conflict. But peace does not always feel peaceful to those who benefit from disorder. Some people feel threatened because your life exposes their stagnation. They see your growth, your discipline, your integrity, and instead of being inspired, they feel convicted. Rather than changing themselves, they project discomfort onto you. This is easier than self-examination. Others fear your blue power because it represents something they lack, but desire. Calm confidence, moral clarity, spiritual depth. When they compare themselves to you, insecurity rises. And insecurity often disguises itself as criticism, dismissal, or avoidance. Now listen to me carefully, chosen one. This is important for your healing. You are not responsible for how others respond to your alignment. You are responsible only for remaining obedient to God. When you try to shrink yourself to make others comfortable, you weaken your spirit. And the people who feel threatened will never feel satisfied anyway. Some will attempt to challenge your authority subtly. They may question your intentions, undermine your credibility, test your patience. This is not because they doubt you. It is because they sense your strength and want to measure it. Do not engage in power struggles. Blue power does not compete. It remains steady and lets truth speak over time. Others will try to drain you emotionally. They will bring chaos, drama, and confusion into your space, hoping to disrupt your calm. But understand this: blue power is not fragile. It is not easily shaken unless you abandon your boundaries. Protect your energy. Silence is often your greatest shield. You may also notice spiritual attacks in subtler forms: self-doubt, fatigue, sudden discouragement. These often intensify when you are stepping into deeper alignment. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are advancing. Resistance increases when authority becomes more visible. Let me reassure you here. God does not allow attacks that you are not equipped to handle. Blue power comes with divine protection, but protection does not mean absence of opposition. It means preservation through it. Some people will distance themselves from you. Relationships may change. Conversations may feel forced or shallow. This is painful, especially if you value loyalty. But understand this seasonally. Not everyone can walk with you where God is taking you. Release does not mean rejection. It means realignment. Chosen one, do not internalize rejection that was never about you. Do not personalize resistance that was provoked by your light. Stay grounded, stay humble, stay obedient. That is where your authority remains intact. And here is something many chosen ones struggle to accept. Not everyone who feels threatened by you is evil. Some are simply unhealed. Your presence triggers areas in them they have avoided. And instead of facing those wounds, they retreat or resist. Pray for them, but do not lower yourself to accommodate their discomfort. Blue power teaches discernment, not judgment. You are not called to fight everyone who opposes you. You are called to recognize when to engage and when to withdraw. Wisdom knows the difference. When opposition arises, check your heart, not your identity. Ask God for clarity, not validation. And remember this: if you were insignificant, there would be no reaction. If you carried no authority, there would be no resistance. Your calm is not weakness. Your silence is not submission. Your restraint is not fear. It is controlled strength. And controlled strength is threatening to those who only understand force. Take a breath here. Release the confusion. You are not imagining this. You are not overthinking. You are witnessing spiritual dynamics unfold around divine authority. Remain steady. Remain aligned. Let God defend what He established. Your blue power is recognized, whether they admit it or not. And that recognition is the very reason you must continue walking with confidence, humility, and trust. There is another layer to this that many chosen ones overlook. Sometimes people are not threatened by what you say or do, but by what you refuse to participate in. Your refusal to engage in gossip, manipulation, dishonesty, or emotional games quietly challenges the culture around you. And when people feel exposed by your integrity, they often label you as distant, cold, or difficult. This is not truth. This is discomfort speaking. You also disrupt unhealthy hierarchies. In environments where power is maintained through fear, control, or favoritism, your calm presence equalizes the room. You treat everyone with respect, not because of status, but because of humanity. This unsettles those who rely on imbalance to feel important. Blue power restores order where disorder once felt normal. Some individuals sense that they cannot dominate or intimidate you. Your spirit does not respond to pressure the way they expect. You do not become reactive. You do not over-explain. You do not chase approval. This emotional independence feels like loss of control to those who thrive on influence. And loss of control often turns into hostility. Let me tell you something that will bring peace to your heart. When people misunderstand you because of your alignment, God understands you completely. You do not need to correct every false assumption. Truth has a way of standing on its own. Over time, patterns reveal themselves. Character speaks louder than defense. Remain grounded in this. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to be faithful. And faithfulness often creates distance before it creates recognition. Do not let temporary rejection convince you to abandon eternal alignment. The burden of blue power and why God chose you anyway. Chosen one. Now I want to speak to the part of you that feels tired in ways you cannot always explain. Not physically tired, soul tired, spiritually heavy. This is the burden of blue power, and it is real. And no, it does not mean you are weak. It means you are carrying weight that was never meant for everyone. Blue power comes with awareness. You see more, you feel more, you understand more, and because of that, you carry more. While others move through life distracted, you are often processing layers beneath the surface. You notice what is unspoken. You sense what is unresolved. You recognize what is misaligned. And carrying that awareness day after day can feel exhausting. God does not give this burden to those who cannot handle it. He gives it to those with strong inner foundations. He gives it to those who can feel deeply without becoming destructive. He gives it to those who can hold truth without becoming arrogant. You were chosen not because you are flawless, but because you are teachable. Many chosen ones struggle with emotional heaviness because they care deeply. You do not easily detach. When people hurt, you feel it. When injustice happens, it troubles you. When someone you love is lost, confused, or self-destructive, it weighs on your spirit. This compassion is not a flaw. It is part of your assignment, but it must be managed wisely. One of the hardest lessons of blue power is learning what is yours to carry and what is not. God did not call you to save everyone. He called you to remain obedient. When you take responsibility for things God never assigned to you, fatigue increases. When you try to fix what God is handling, peace disappears. Let me speak honestly here. Many of you are tired because you have been emotionally overgiving. You listen, you support, you encourage, you absorb, and often you do this without receiving the same in return. Over time, this imbalance drains you. Blue power does not mean unlimited access. It requires boundaries. Another burden is restraint. You often know what to say, but choose not to say it. You see patterns forming, but wait for timing. You recognize truth, but remain silent until God gives permission. This self-control can feel frustrating, especially when others act recklessly. But restraint is strength, not suppression. You may also carry the burden of being misunderstood. People may see your calm as indifference, your silence as distance, your boundaries as arrogance, and instead of defending yourself constantly, you choose peace. This costs you emotionally, but it protects your spirit. God sees this sacrifice. There are seasons where God intentionally hides you, not to punish you, but to protect you. During these seasons, recognition feels delayed, progress feels slow, and loneliness can increase. But hidden seasons are where blue power is refined. Roots grow deeper before fruit becomes visible. You may have asked God why you had to go through certain hardships while others seemed spared. Let me answer that gently. God allows pressure where he sees potential. He allows pruning where he sees growth. And he allows silence where he is building trust. Blue power is not given to those who seek it. It is given to those who are prepared for responsibility. God chose you because he knew you would wrestle with truth, not abuse it. He knew you would question yourself before judging others. He knew you would remain humble even when you carried authority. This power also comes with a strong sense of accountability. You feel conviction quickly. You cannot ignore your conscience for long. When you fall short, you reflect. You correct. You grow. This keeps your power clean. God protects blue power by sharpening integrity. Some of you carry grief that others do not see, losses you never fully processed, goodbyes that were never explained, endings that came too suddenly, and yet you continue to move forward. This is strength born of faith, not denial. Let me reassure you here. God does not overlook your sacrifices. Every tear, every quiet prayer, every moment you chose obedience over comfort has been seen. Your burden is not wasted. It is shaping wisdom that will one day bless others. But hear this clearly. You are not meant to carry this burden alone. God invites you to rest in him. Blue power does not thrive in constant strain. It thrives in trust. When you release control, clarity returns. When you rest, strength renews. Stop punishing yourself for being human. Stop expecting perfection from yourself. God chose you knowing your weaknesses. His power is not dependent on your flawlessness. It is sustained by your surrender. Chosen one, you were not chosen to suffer endlessly. You were chosen to mature deeply. And maturity always feels heavy before it feels peaceful. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to step back and breathe. This does not weaken your calling. It protects it. God chose you because he could trust your heart. And even when you feel tired, even when you feel unsure, that trust remains. You are still chosen. You are still held. And your blue power is still intact. Take a breath here. Let the weight ease. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are being formed. There is another weight that often comes with blue power, and it is the weight of self-restraint in a loud world. You live among people who react quickly, speak carelessly, and move without reflection. Yet you are wired differently. You pause. You measure your words. You consider consequences. And sometimes this makes you feel out of place, even old-fashioned. But this restraint is not weakness. It is wisdom beyond your years. You may also feel the burden of delayed recognition. You do the right thing quietly. You show up consistently. You remain faithful even when no one applauds. And at times, it seems like others advance faster, receive more acknowledgement, or experience easier paths. This can test your patience, but understand this. God develops depth before visibility. What rises too quickly often collapses just as fast. Another hidden burden is the internal conflict between obedience and desire. There are things you could do, places you could go, ways you could live that might bring temporary comfort or approval. But something within you resists. Your spirit will not allow shortcuts that compromise alignment. This inner resistance can feel frustrating, but it is also protection. Blue power guards you from paths that look appealing but lead away from purpose. You may also carry the burden of seeing potential in people who refuse to grow. You invest hope. You offer guidance. You wait longer than you should, and when they choose stagnation over transformation, disappointment settles in. This is painful for you because you genuinely want others to rise. But remember this: you are responsible for faithfulness, not outcomes. Let me say this clearly, because many chosen ones need to hear it. Being chosen does not mean being endlessly strong. It means knowing when to lay your burden at God's feet. Strength without surrender becomes strain, but strength with surrender becomes peace. God did not choose you to break you. He chose you to build you. And every weight you carry now is shaping discernment, patience, and wisdom that will serve you later. You are not carrying too much by accident, and you are not carrying it alone. God walks with you, steadies you, and renews you. Even when you feel weary, His trust in you has not changed. How to protect, strengthen, and walk confidently in your blue power. Chosen one, now that you understand what you carry, it is time to learn how to protect it. Blue power is strong, but it is not careless. God never gives authority without wisdom to sustain it. And one of the greatest lessons you will learn is that protection does not always look like defense. Sometimes it looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like walking away. The first way you protect your blue power is through spiritual boundaries. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone needs to know your thoughts, your plans, or your struggles. Oversharing weakens discernment. Blue power thrives in discretion. Jesus Himself did not explain Himself to everyone. Learn from that. Another essential protection is obedience. When God gives you direction, follow it even if it doesn't make sense immediately. Blue power weakens when you compromise alignment to please people. But when you obey, clarity sharpens, peace returns, authority stabilizes. You must also learn the discipline of stillness. You are not called to react to everything. Not every comment requires a response. Not every challenge deserves engagement. Many battles are distractions designed to drain you. Blue power remains intact when you choose stillness over reaction. Prayer is not optional for you. It is maintenance. It is recalibration. It is where your strength renews. But prayer for you is not always loud. Often it is quiet conversation. Listening, waiting, letting God settle your spirit. This is where confusion dissolves. Protect your energy by paying attention to how environments affect you. Certain spaces drain you because they are misaligned. This does not mean you are superior. It means you are sensitive to spiritual atmosphere. Choose environments that support clarity, not chaos. Strengthening your blue power requires humility. Authority without humility becomes brittle. God strengthens those who remain teachable. When correction comes, receive it. When conviction arises, respond. This keeps your power clean and effective. Another way you strengthen this power is by honoring rest. Burnout is not proof of devotion. God does not require exhaustion to validate obedience. Rest is not laziness, it is trust. When you rest, you declare that God is in control even when you are still. Learn to speak intentionally. Your words carry weight. Speak when led, not when provoked. Silence does not mean weakness, it means discernment. Many chosen ones lose authority by speaking prematurely. Wait for God's timing. Confidence in blue power does not come from asserting dominance. It comes from knowing who you are without needing approval. You do not need to explain yourself repeatedly. You do not need to convince others of your worth. Let consistency speak. Another critical protection is avoiding ego traps. Being chosen does not make you better than others. It makes you responsible. Pride distorts discernment. Stay grounded. Remember where God brought you from. Gratitude keeps your heart aligned. You must also learn to release guilt. You cannot save everyone. You cannot meet every expectation. When you say no, it does not mean you are disobedient. It means you are discerning. God never asked you to abandon your well-being for approval. Walking confidently in blue power means trusting your inner guidance. God speaks through peace. When something feels forced, pause. When clarity comes gently, move. You do not need to rush destiny. It unfolds through obedience, not anxiety. Protect your mind. What you consume matters. Noise clouds discernment. Constant negativity dulls sensitivity. Choose what feeds your spirit. Blue power sharpens in environments of truth, not distraction. You will face moments where confidence feels shaky. This is normal. Confidence grows through experience. Each time you choose alignment over comfort, it strengthens. Each time you remain calm under pressure, it stabilizes. Let me remind you of something important. God does not empower you and then abandon you. When you feel unsure, return to stillness. When you feel overwhelmed, return to prayer. When you feel drained, return to rest. Walking in blue power is not about perfection. It is about consistency. You will make mistakes. You will misjudge at times, but humility allows correction. Pride resists it. Chosen one, you are not fragile, but you are valuable. And valuable things are protected intentionally. Walk slowly, speak thoughtfully, rest deeply, trust God fully. Your blue power does not require constant effort. It requires alignment. As you learn to protect and strengthen this power, confidence will become natural, not loud, not forced, but steady. And when you walk with that steadiness, the world will continue to notice. But this time, you will no longer be shaken by their reactions. You will know who you are, and you will move forward without fear. There is another level of protection that many chosen ones overlook, and that is emotional discipline. You feel deeply, but you must learn not to let emotions steer your decisions. Feelings are signals, not commanders. Blue power remains stable when emotion is acknowledged, but not obeyed blindly. When you pause before reacting, you preserve clarity. When you respond instead of react, you protect authority. You also need to understand the importance of timing. God often gives you insight before others are ready to receive it. Speaking too early can cause resistance, misunderstanding, or unnecessary conflict. Silence, when guided by wisdom, is not avoidance. It is preparation. Truth lands best when hearts are ready. Another way you strengthen blue power is by letting go of the need to be understood. Not everyone will grasp your intentions, your depth, or your restraint, and that is okay. Clarity does not require universal agreement. The more you release the need for explanation, the more peaceful your spirit becomes. Be careful with emotional attachments that pull you out of alignment. Sometimes loyalty can turn into bondage if it keeps you connected to what God is asking you to release. Blue power requires honest evaluation of relationships. Ask yourself this gently. Does this connection bring clarity or confusion, peace or pressure? Guard your inner dialogue. How you speak to yourself matters. Self-criticism erodes authority faster than external opposition. Replace harsh self-talk with truth. You are learning. You are growing. You are allowed to evolve. God is patient with you. Be patient with yourself. You also strengthen this power through gratitude. Gratitude grounds you in reality. It reminds you of how far you've come. It protects you from bitterness when progress feels slow. Even in waiting seasons, gratitude keeps your heart aligned. Learn to recognize when you are being tested and when you are being refined. Tests reveal what is already within you. Refinement shapes what is becoming. Do not panic when pressure increases. Ask God what He is teaching you. Blue power matures through awareness, not resistance. You may need to step away from certain environments without explanation. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Your spirit will tell you when something is no longer healthy. Trust that guidance. You do not need permission to protect your peace. Understand this clearly. Being calm does not mean being passive. There will be moments when God calls you to speak firmly. When that moment comes, you will feel clarity, not anxiety. Speak then. Authority flows when timing aligns. You are also allowed to enjoy life. Joy does not diminish seriousness. Laughter does not weaken spirituality. Rest, beauty, creativity, and connection restore your spirit. Blue power grows in balanced lives, not rigid ones. When doubt tries to creep in, return to remembrance. Remember the moments when your intuition was right. Remember the peace that followed obedience. Remember the strength that appeared when you trusted God. Your history with Him is evidence of His faithfulness. Finally, stop carrying the expectation of perfection. You are a vessel, not the source. God works through you, not because of you. This truth keeps your power humble and your heart free. Walking confidently in blue power means moving forward without rushing, standing firm without hardening, and trusting God without fear. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where refinement meets readiness. And as you continue walking this path with wisdom and trust, your blue power will not only protect you, it will quietly bless those God places in your path. The divine timing of this message in your life. Chosen one, I want you to understand something very important right now. This message did not reach you randomly. You did not stumble upon it by accident. Divine messages arrive when the soul is ready, not when the mind demands answers. And the fact that you are here, listening, feeling this resonate deep within you, tells me something clearly. You are standing at a threshold. There are seasons in life when God speaks softly, and seasons when He speaks with urgency. This is one of those moments where heaven leans in closer, not to rush you, not to pressure you, but to confirm you. Many of you have been sensing a shift, a restlessness that is not anxiety, a stillness that is not emptiness. Something has been changing within you, and you couldn't quite name it. This message is naming it. Divine timing rarely feels dramatic. Most of the time it feels quiet, precise, and deeply personal. It shows up as recognition rather than surprise. You hear something and think, this explains everything I've been feeling. That is how alignment speaks. Loud events impress the mind. Gentle truth settles the soul. Some of you have been questioning delays. You've wondered why certain doors have not opened yet, why progress feels slower than expected, why clarity seemed just out of reach. Let me reassure you, delay is not denial. Preparation often feels like waiting, but waiting is active when God is involved. While you thought nothing was happening, foundations were being strengthened. God does not rush those He entrusts with authority. Speed without stability creates collapse. That is why your journey may feel slower than others. You are not being held back. You are being anchored. Blue power requires a strong inner structure, and structure takes time. There is also something else at work here. Timing protects you from what you are not yet ready to carry. Recognition too early can distort humility. Responsibility too soon can overwhelm discernment. God releases things when character can support them. What you receive late often lasts longer. Many chosen ones struggle with comparison during these seasons. You look around and see others advancing, receiving opportunities, being celebrated. And quietly, doubt tries to whisper that you are falling behind. That voice is not truth. God's path is individual. What is aligned for someone else may not be aligned for you. Let me speak to the frustration you may feel when you know you carry something valuable, yet the world has not acknowledged it. Recognition is not validation. God's awareness outweighs human applause. When He decides to reveal what He has placed in you, it will not require forcing or proving. It will unfold naturally. Divine timing also exposes misplaced attachments. In waiting seasons, God reveals what you depend on more than Him. Approval, certainty, control, comfort. These seasons are uncomfortable because they refine trust. And trust is essential for those carrying blue power. Some of you have been feeling called to let go of old versions of yourself. Habits, mindsets, roles, relationships. This can feel unsettling because the familiar feels safe even when it is limiting. But God does not remove without replacing. What you release creates space for what is coming. This message arrives now because your discernment has matured. A few years ago, you may not have understood it. You may have misused it or doubted it, but now your spirit is ready to receive without distortion. That is divine wisdom at work. You are also learning patience in a deeper way. Not passive patience, but grounded patience. The kind that trusts without needing constant reassurance. The kind that continues walking even when visibility is low. This patience stabilizes your power. It keeps you rooted when momentum increases later. There is a reason this message feels calming instead of overwhelming. True divine confirmation brings peace, not panic. It settles you. It reassures you. It reminds you that you are not lost. You are being guided. You may be standing between what was and what will be. That in-between space can feel uncomfortable. Identity shifts. Old patterns dissolve. New clarity has not fully formed yet. But this space is holy. It is where transformation happens quietly. Let me tell you something from experience. God often speaks most clearly right before movement begins. Not always outward movement. Sometimes internal alignment comes first. Once the inner order is established, the outer follows naturally. If you've been feeling like you're on the edge of something but can't see it clearly yet, that's okay. Faith does not require full visibility. It requires trust in direction. And right now, direction is being confirmed. This message is not asking you to act impulsively. It is asking you to settle into who you already are. To stop questioning your difference. To stop apologizing for your calm. To stop doubting your discernment. Divine timing also brings closure. Some chapters are ending, whether you feel ready or not. This does not mean loss. It means transition. What carried you then cannot carry you now. And that is not failure. That is growth. Chosen one, take this moment as confirmation, not pressure, not expectation. Confirmation. You are aligned. You are protected. You are being guided with precision. Nothing is late. Nothing is missing. And nothing about your journey is accidental. God speaks when the heart is quiet enough to hear. And right now your heart is listening. Let that bring peace. Conclusion. Step into your authority without fear. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this message, I want you to sit with one simple truth. Nothing you have experienced was meaningless. Every season of silence, every moment of confusion, every time you felt different or misunderstood was shaping you for alignment, not abandonment. Your blue power was never a burden meant to break you. It was a responsibility meant to mature you. You do not need to rush into anything after hearing this. You do not need to announce who you are. You do not need to prove your calling. Authority does not demand attention. It commands respect through consistency, humility, and obedience. Walk calmly. Walk steadily. Walk confidently, knowing God is with you. Remember this, your calm is strength, your restraint is wisdom, your discernment is protection, and your difference is divine design. You were never meant to move like the crowd. You were meant to remain steady when the crowd is shaken. There will still be moments of doubt. That does not disqualify you. There will still be challenges. That does not weaken you. What matters is that you return to alignment every time. God is not asking you to be fearless. He is asking you to trust Him even when fear whispers. Rest when you need to. Pray when you feel unsure. Be silent when wisdom calls for it. Speak when God leads. You are not alone in this walk. Heaven is invested in your obedience, not your perfection. Chosen one, if this message resonated with your spirit, receive it as confirmation. You are exactly where you need to be. And what God has placed within you will unfold in His timing, with His protection. Before you go, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones who need this clarity and peace. And comment 777 in the comments as a declaration that you are aligned, grounded, and walking confidently in the purpose God has given you. Walk in peace. Your blue power is real, and God goes before you.